think of Audrey Hepburn, we picture grace, elegance, and quiet strength. But what if behind that poised image was a woman carrying a private pain she never revealed publicly? Recently uncovered letters written in Audrey's own hand expose a side of her life that few knew existed. These weren't just diary entries or fan replies. These were confessions. Honest, vulnerable, sometimes heartbreaking. In today's video, we're unpacking what those letters revealed, how they were hidden for decades.
I was taught that I ought not expose my innocences. Had no plan for a man.
And why they're rewriting everything we thought we knew about one of Hollywood's most beloved icons. What you're about to learn will stay with you, because behind the smile was a secret she kept all her life. The world saw her as perfect, an icon of timeless beauty and gentle strength. But Audrey Hepburn was far more complex than the image Hollywood package. Behind her elegant posture and delicate voice was someone deeply scarred by war, abandonment, and emotional isolation. She smiled for cameras.
Audrey Hepburn.
But privately, she struggled with self-worth, identity, and inner loneliness. Her image was controlled by studios, fashion houses, and press agents. But the woman inside that image often felt lost. The letters that surfaced don't just challenge the myth, they humanize her. They show us that Audrey wasn't a porcelain figure. She was real, raw, and more resilient than anyone realized. The letters came to light in a private estate sale in the Netherlands, decades after Audrey's death. Written in the 1950s and 60s, they were addressed to a small circle of confidence, childhood friends, a former ballet mentor, and a little-known priest. Most had been stored in a locked chest owned by a distant relative. When cataloged, historians were stunned by their tone, far more personal and unguarded than anything Audrey had shared publicly. These weren't letters meant for the public eye. They were admissions of fear, guilt, and doubt. One curator described them as a soul speaking in quiet ink. What they revealed shocked even her closest fans. Audrey often mentioned her childhood during World War II in brief, sanitized interviews. But her letters painted a much darker reality. She wrote about starvation, hiding from Nazi patrols, and witnessing acts of brutality that haunted her for life. One passage describes watching a man executed in the street, something she could never unsee. She also detailed the deep trauma of seeing friends disappear and her mother's descent into silence and fear. These memories left scars that shaped everything she became. Her elegance was a shield. Her humanitarian work, a response to pain. She didn't survive the war unbroken. She survived despite being broken. One of the most heartbreaking themes in Audrey's letters is guilt. Not survivor's guilt from the war, though she felt that too, but guilt over choices she made as an adult. She wrote about moments when fame pulled her away from people who needed her most. She expressed regret about not spending more time with her sons, about staying silent on causes she believed in, about choosing roles that didn't reflect her truth. "I was given so much," she wrote in one letter, "and yet I was afraid to speak, afraid to lose it." Her beauty may have opened doors, but it also made her feel trapped. She never stopped questioning herself. Among the letters are several directed to a man Audrey never named directly, but the details make it clear. This was someone she loved deeply and painfully. Based on timelines and references, experts believe she was writing about William Holden. They co-starred in Sabrina, and while their chemistry was visible on screen, behind it was a storm. Holden, already married and dealing with addiction, allegedly promised her more than he could give. Audrey's letters reveal her heartbreak over his dishonesty and her own shame for believing in him. "I lost myself in someone who was never really mine," she wrote. It was a love story the public never saw, and it left her wounded. Few people know that Audrey Hepburn suffered multiple miscarriages during her lifetime. The letters reveal how deeply those losses affected her. She described the emotional whiplash of preparing to be a mother, only to be left grieving in silence. At a time when women were expected to smile and carry on, Audrey poured her pain into these private pages. One letter reads, "I felt like a mother, even if the world never saw me as one." She often blamed herself, her thin frame, her schedule, the stress. But her words show a woman aching for a child, devastated by what she couldn't hold on to. Her silence in public masked deep personal sorrow. Audrey wasn't just pressured to act, she was pressured to be Audrey Hepburn. Her roles in Breakfast at Tiffany's and My Fair Lady turned her into a fashion icon. But the person beneath the Givenchy gowns often felt unworthy. She wrote about being exhausted by constant expectations. To be slim, gracious, elegant, and polite. I was never allowed to be tired, one letter says. They wanted the doll, not the woman. The demands wore her down. Every smile in a photo op came at a cost. The letters prove that even the most beloved faces in film battled invisible expectations. Audrey knew who she was, but often had to hide it. Although never officially diagnosed during her lifetime, Audrey's letters reveal a deep, persistent sadness.
With Charles, everything is secrecy and lies. He's hiding something from me, Sylvie. Something terrible.
She described empty mornings, afternoons where silence felt too loud, and nights where I waited for nothing to pass. These weren't dramatic cries for help. They were honest reflections from someone wrestling with emotional weight she couldn't name. Mental health wasn't discussed openly in her era, especially among public figures. But Audrey's own words point clearly to a long battle with depression, masked by poise. She didn't want pity, she wanted understanding. And through these letters, we finally hear her unfiltered voice, not hopeless, but human. Being adored by millions didn't protect Audrey from feeling completely alone. In fact, it made it worse. She wrote about how fame created distance, how people stopped seeing her as a person and started treating her like a product. They love what I am, not who I am, she wrote. Even in rooms full of people, she felt isolated. And the more iconic she became, the fewer people she could truly trust. Her letters often expressed a yearning for normalcy, for quiet mornings, real friendships, and simple joy. Behind the sparkle of Hollywood, she was quietly drowning in isolation few could imagine. As Audrey grew older, she pulled away from Hollywood, not because she was fading, but because she was finding clarity. Her work with UNICEF gave her a renewed sense of meaning. The letters show that this wasn't just charity, it was survival. Helping others reminds me that I still matter, she wrote. She traveled to war-torn regions, hugged starving children, and used her fame for something real. It wasn't glamorous, and she didn't care. In her letters, you feel the shift. She stopped chasing applause and started chasing peace. For the first time, she was fully herself, and that version of Audrey might be her most beautiful. One letter, dated just a year before her death, hints at a lifelong secret Audrey never disclosed. Not to the press, not to friends, not even in interviews. She wrote about carrying the memory of something I did not stop, though I could have. It's vague, heartbreaking, and entirely open to interpretation. Some biographers believe it refers to a family betrayal during World War II. Others think it points to a friend or lover she abandoned under pressure. Whatever it was, it haunted her. She ends the letter simply, "I pray I am forgiven, though I have not forgiven myself." That one line alone reshapes everything we thought we knew. Audrey Hepburn didn't want to be remembered as a perfect woman. She wanted to be remembered as a real one. These letters give us that chance. They reveal someone vulnerable, haunted, compassionate, and incredibly brave. She carried so much and spoke so little. But in her quiet, she never stopped trying to be kind. Her legacy isn't just built on style and grace. It's built on endurance, humility, and a determination to protect her soul in a world that tried to take it. We loved Audrey for how she made us feel. Now we can love her for who she truly was. Audrey Hepburn's letters give us something the cameras never could, her truth. Not curated, not edited, not filtered, just Audrey. Her secret struggles, her silent heartbreaks, and her private strength remind us that even legends have shadows. If this story changed how you see her or made you feel something deeper, don't let it fade. Like, comment, and share this video. And hit subscribe for more hidden stories from Hollywood's golden age. This is Silver Screen Secrets, where icons finally get to speak in their own voice.